Three, two, one, and we're live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sensor Free. It is 9 p.m. here on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. This very well might be my first stream or first video, anything in the year 2025. So, Happy New Year to you, if that's actually the case. It's possible I was on about a month ago, but my live streams have been few and far between um, over the last 6 months or so. And in fact, I don't think I've even been down here in my bait cave since the last live stream. It is getting more and more crowded and messy in here. I barely have enough room for me to sit down. There's stuff all over at my feet. And yeah, it's about time for me to take inventory of everything and organize my tackle for the spring. I know that we still have another month or two before fishing really gets going. However, we've got some warm weather that we've had over the last couple of weeks. Water is definitely still iced over, but today was a cold day. Tomorrow will be like 65 degrees. We're going to have some thawing going on here shortly. Last year, I was able to start fishing like a week or two into March. So here in Colorado, that's pretty early. Usually like beginning of April would be a little bit more appropriate for me. So who knows what we're working with. Cheers, everybody. I'm drinking an Avery IPA. Dry January is over. And yeah, it's a Tuesday night. I'm drinking beer. Welcome in, everybody who's hopping in. We got Michael. We got Malone. Fish and Fix. I don't know if I recognize your tag, but welcome in. Travis. Is that who Fish and Fix is? Caro in the house. What's up? Maybe Big Malone is Travis. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, welcome in, guys. I've got two packages that I want to share with you. And if we have a little extra time, we can also kind of go through this guy. Did you guys get this in the mail a few weeks back and have the opportunity to do your annual perusing and admiring? It's always just a fun little tradition to go through the catalog. And I had the opportunity to do that recently, but needed to recycle it and just thought it would be fun to go through at least the lures that are in there. We don't necessarily need to talk rods and reels and stuff, but go through the lures. There are a few that stand out. There was a typo or two that I noticed, which who cares, but just a few things that I wanted to mention in the catalog. But I've got my monthly unboxing from Discount Tackle to go through with you guys. And then I have a very random an order from Temu. I have not actually pulled these baits out yet. I have not taken a look at them. So you guys will get my honest reaction of those. I pulled out the stuff that is non-fishing related. I had never made a purchase on Temu. I probably will not make another one again, but I'm curious to see what the impressions are of the fishing lures. So, yep. Looks like we got just 5 people in here. We had some people jump in and then jump out, but let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. Discount Tackle is perhaps one of my favorite places to shop online. I make a monthly purchase there. If you're at all interested in checking out Discount Tackle, use the link in the description of this video as usual. That is my affiliate link with Discount Tackle. I have been a brand ambassador for them for, 3 years or so since they started the program. Awesome place to shop. Great deals every day of the year. And then on top of that, some better sales at different times of the year. And so I like to shop what is new at Discount Tackle and sometimes what is on clearance or if they've just got really good deals going on. So I have a little bit of both of those today. Caro is saying that you haven't gotten a catalog yet. Too bad. Yeah, well, it came in the mail for me like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, something like that. It is online, so I'll pull that up in a little bit and show you guys. And we'll just roll through it online as opposed to it being a little more awkward and me flipping through and saying, "Oh, look at these hooks," and like trying to show you guys up close. In fact, we'll just we'll hop over to the website. I'll do a screen share and we can look at stuff together. So, $86 was the total on this package. I believe just 7 items in the package. So obviously 1 or 2 things are a little bit higher priced. Let's start with the first one that we have gone over before. I purchased one of these when it was first available at Discount Tackle, I believe. Or did I buy it around? No, I didn't. I must have bought it from Tackle Warehouse at the end of last year because Discount Tackle either didn't have them in yet or they got their initial batch and then they sold out. But first item is the Buka 6-inch Trick Shad. This is a new bait for 2025. You would see that in the catalog. What's interesting about this bait is that it is a chop style glide bait that is meant to essentially take some of the market and borrow from some of the success that the Spro Chad Shad did in pairing up with Spro. So KGB paired up with Spro to make the Chad Shad in an ABS plastic version and make it more affordable than the original Chad Shad, about a third of the original price. That costs about $60. And so Buka decided to do the same thing with the Trick Shad, and just paired up with GSM Outdoors, Catchco, those guys. And they've got the Trick Shad and the Bull Rat under that brand are the main couple of ones that are newer. And this guy retails at $40. However, not only has Discount Tackle gotten them in stock a few times since I purchased the initial one, got this one in the Matte Shad. Bought this around the holidays from Tackle Warehouse and bought that at full price. But Discount Tackle has had these in stock a couple of times. And I noticed before making this purchase, when just doing my normal perusing the clearance bin, that this bait in this color was on clearance. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Maybe the pink color doesn't sell well. But it kind of seemed a little bit early for a new bait to be on clearance. It was just this color specifically. So when I look at this color in this bait, I'm thinking smallmouth specifically, right? Smallmouth will eat a 6-inch bait, no problem. And with just how bright and pink and shiny this thing is, even the tail, I think a smallmouth will eat the hell out of this thing. So it was $28. And if you do the math on that, that is 40% off. So $28.08 for the Buka Trick Shad in Pinkasagi, the color is called. So pretty freaking sweet. worth it to me, especially considering the discount off of the retail price on it. So I am not mad about that. Pretty excited about the purchase. Couple features to note about this guy. Obviously, you can see the weight in the bottom of the front portion of the bait there, and then that little knocker BB in the back half there. But this bait does have swiveling hook hangers, which is pretty sweet. Actually, very sweet. And it also has giant split rings on it. I mentioned that the first time I saw it. I think that's unnecessary. I'm definitely going to downsize the split rings on this guy and see what we're working with. I think they just felt like they could get away with it with the size of the hook, but I don't generally like to have oversized split rings on my stuff, so I will bring those down. I doubt I will change the size of the hooks that come stock because it doesn't look like there's a lot of room to upsize those, but that is to be determined. So anyway, pretty cool first item in the package this month from Discount Tackle. $28 out of the $86 overall that I spent. Carol, that's funny. You think your husband's probably hiding the catalog from you? Probably did come in the mail and he's just hiding it. He doesn't want you making a huge purchase right at the moment. That's funny. You heard Mustad had a recall on hooks. Interesting. I did not hear that, but that is interesting to know. I have not had a ton of problems with Mustad hooks. That said, I don't use a lot of them. So maybe it was some of their like newer alpha nano coated hooks or something like that. But I really mostly just use their triple grip EWG style treble hooks on crankbaits and things like that. But yeah, I could not tell you. I don't know about that. Michael didn't order the catalog this year. What are you talking about? I didn't order the catalog. It just comes to me. I'm not a member at Bass Pro or Cabela's. They just send it to me. Are you saying that I'm ordering it? Because I'm not, dude. Interesting. You haven't bought from Bass Pro in a while? Well, you do got to peruse the deals every now and again. They've got some good deals. You can buy stuff online at Bass Pro or Cabela's and have it shipped to the store for free. You just go to the store and pick it up. That ends up being like half of how I purchase my stuff from them. But I also will go in there like once a month just for therapy to walk around, check out the fish tank, and maybe I walk out with like a single pack of baits or something like that. You know, like if I just wanted to buy a pack of Mooch minnows, and they happen to have them in stock there in a color that I am interested in and was not able to buy recently from elsewhere, that's where I would do that. So I don't spend a ton of money there either, but I do get the catalog. Oh, did you? Just today too, huh? Yeah, I'm a fan of the reflective scales, but I couldn't tell you whether it makes much of a difference for me. But I like it. Well, yes, it would, Mason. The pink color would be a great dirty water color, but it's also a great clear water color, especially for smallmouth. Could be a good largemouth color as well, but I typically try to go a little bit more natural with largemouth and then a little bit more flashy when I'm fishing for smallmouth, assuming it's bass. And then with trout and things like that, you can go absolutely crazy with the colors. And panfish and trout definitely like brighter colors. So it depends on the species of fish, but I would not limit pink to being a dirty watercolor. No, but it does work better than natural colors in dirty water. So yes. Caro just got a kayak this past weekend. Yeah, I wouldn't blame your husband for putting you on lure restriction for a while, given a new kayak. So congratulations on the new purchase, though. That's pretty sweet. Huh, Michael. Do you have to purchase it, or you just got to say that you want them to send it to you? That's weird. I never got anything like that. Didn't know that they were trying to be stingy on how many catalogs they send out, but that's interesting. Next item is a piece of apparel. You'll see it kind of matches my pullover. This is a Discount Tackle merch, and it's a pair of fishing gloves, which is pretty sweet. Love to see that Discount Tackle is branching out with their merch, because for the longest time, they had like one or two simple shirts, just t-shirts, and a couple of hats, and that was it. And now they're making gloves. So these gloves retail $14.99 is what they cost and what I paid for them. Let's see how they fit. I mean, pretty cool packaging. Premium fishing gloves. UPF 50. Like the picture. So, yeah, let's give them a try on, and I'll show you the pattern. With gloves like this, I prefer to size down and have them fit a little bit more snug. So I did go with the small / medium as opposed to like the medium large, because I don't want them to be too long on my fingers, and I don't want them to be baggy at all. So see, we got the branding on the outside as well as on the palm. And then you've got some breathability, a lot of grip there on the palm and on the underside of the fingers. Very cool. So this is actually the same pattern as what you get with the shirt. Z-Man branded, not the gloves. But UPF 50, these seem to be high quality gloves. I am happy with the purchase. I was thinking about buying 2 pairs initially, kind of like I did with the shirts. Get one in each colorway, but I like these a lot. Michael Bradley. Now that I've got the gloves on, beat it, beat it. No, I'm not a singer. That's as much as you're gonna get from me. So sorry that I did that per your request. But little Michael Jackson for you. So $15 for the gloves, and those are sweet. I'll definitely be rocking those as well as these Sun shirts this upcoming season. So sure, Discount Tackle will appreciate that, but I will too. I'm digging the Sun gear. Never hurts to stay a little bit better protected from the sun. This hood is awesome, and you can wear a hat and everything else under it, and it's still got a little extra room inside it. So definitely feel protected from the sun. And then you get those gloves coming right up to the cuff of the arm. All the better. So I guess that leaves us with 5 things left. Couple soft plastics and couple hard baits. Not even hard baits, but let's do it this way. Here's a combo of things. I don't have either of these 2 items. I've got some swim baits that I have never tried before. This is the new Yamamoto Shad Shape Swimmer. Have you guys seen this or tried it yet? So they have the shad-shaped worm, which is a fantastic drop shot bait. One of my favorites, in fact, but I think just this past year they came out with this, the shad-shaped swimmer, which is a very thin paddle tail swim bait. I mean, I'm very surprised. I thought this was going to be a lot more like the Kitech Easy Shiner. It's quite a bit different. So you get a flat top, does have that hook slot on top and on bottom, which is cool. So you can rig this on like an EWG style hook and keep it weedless, but look at how thin this thing tapers down to its tail section. Can you imagine if this was not in a clamshell package? This is already somewhat warped straight out of the pack, but I'm not terribly worried or upset about it. I think it'll probably still swim just fine, but very, very thin tail. Gonna get a lot of action out of the tail section of this bait, but it is just really the last inch or so of the bait. And then you get this narrow and flat-sided profile. I mean, it is essentially the same exact body as what you get out of the shad-shaped worm, plus then a really narrow tail with a squared off boot tail on it. And that's pretty cool. So unique for sure, and something that I am not mad about. I'm not necessarily going to just go stock up on a ton of those, but I am pleasantly surprised and impressed with what I see there. Now, next, I just ripped these open without showing you what they are. Next is the Picasso swim bait head. Is there another name? Picasso line through head. So this is a medium spring. This is the 3/16 of an ounce. Yeah, these are line through heads, just like what you would get from 6th Sense. So new-ish design, not a ton of manufacturers with these on the market. See the hole in the front of the nose there, and then coming out the top right above the spring there. But beautiful design, very Picasso-esque. And my thought was to pair these two together. So as for how that will fit, we'll have to see. I'm going to chop off just the front portion of this bait. I say chop off, but really I mean bite off. And it's cool because it does have a true centering pin. So it's a high quality screw lock that we're using here. Question is, will I be able to screw this on properly on my first go? I don't know. And there she is. Decent rigging job. Not the most amazing first go at it, but fits pretty seamlessly on there. I think size-wise, I managed to match them up well. 3/16 of an ounce is about as much weight as I would want on a small profile bait like this. Now, these swim baits are 3.7 inches, so I might even prefer to go with a slightly shorter bait, but regardless, what I would do is just throw like a size 6 treble hook either on bottom or on top. You can decide however it is that you want to put the treble hook once you rig that line through the head, but pretty cool deal. The line through heads are something that I thought I was going to put more time into last season and didn't end up doing as much as I thought that I would or that I think I should, because I think it's a really cool concept and I know that it works, but I was fishing other stuff last year. So that is the new Shad Shape Swimmer and the new Picasso line through jig head, which is sweet. So got a good deal on both of those. The color on this swim bait, not that you can totally tell in this light, but it's called Pinkasagi. Same exact name as this swim bait that I showed you, which seems crazy because this is almost entirely translucent, but in the right light, you'd be able to see that there is actually pink fleck in this colorway. And maybe I'll take some pictures and show you another time, but I'm not sure if you can see that. So this is a translucent with pink flake in there. So Pinkasagi shad shaped swimmer paired up with the line through jig head. Now, of course, the second that I set down this swim bait, this tail's just going to get 10 times more messed up than it was straight out of the pack. So I think what I'm going to do is actually put the jig head back. And even though I bit off the top of this swim bait, I am going to put it back in the package. These are the situations where having a clamshell package matters oh so much. I love a good clamshell for when it is needed. And there are plenty of baits out there where it is needed and non-existent. So I am very glad that they're doing it here. Doesn't exist with the Easy Shiner. Does kind of rub me the wrong way, but that's all right. All right, so 505 fishing. Cheers. I'm drinking an Avery IPA. Pretty cool design that you see. The hops are shaped like mountains. Avery is a brewing company here in Colorado. They're up in Boulder, Colorado. So you can see right there. And you'll see they call it a Colorado IPA, but yep, it's a delicious one. It's on tap most places, and I drink it pretty frequently. In terms of notes, it says it's floral, resinous, and crisp. Resinous is an interesting word. Frank in the house. What's up, Frank? Driving your bus? So you can't watch, but you want to say hi. Well, thank you for stopping in. I know you're probably not hearing me say hi and goodbye, but appreciate you stopping by, Frank. No, man, I have not gotten very into strolling as of yet. That is something that I will maybe keep an open mind about, but I typically don't go out fishing for very long at a time, nor am I like dead on where the fish are. So it's hard for me to think about getting into that type of fishing, especially at this point in my life. You know, maybe that'll change in the future and I'll have more time on my hands and I will have it dialed in when I'm on a school of fish, and that type of presentation might be what it takes. But no, I would fish something with a little bit more action, regardless of what that is. It can still be something that has a pretty dead action, but yeah, I mean, I've picked up some of the gear and could do it with a owner range roller and something like a Crush City Mooch minnow or just a round ball jig head, doesn't matter. But I've not gotten super into that style of presentation yet. So, no. Michael, does it give you gas? No, it means that it's a play on words, kind of like along the lines of weed. Resin, like residue, like when I think of resin, I'm thinking of weed and the THC crystals that are on the buds themselves, but we don't need to talk about that. You guys know by now that I have not been smoking weed in years and will not be going back. So, yeah, no, you ought to try them. You think I ought to try the finisher? Interesting. Why do you say that? Next bait up is a very interesting one and a newer one to the market. This is the Bill Lewis Zigzag Top Water. Who knows if this is a concept that is going... I mean, I'm sure there's a time and a place where it would work, but is it something that I will implement? I will try it, and if somehow, some way the fish are like all about it, then sure, I'm going to keep enough of an open mind to try it. But boy, oh boy, this is like a teaser top water. So not sure if you've seen this before or have tried something like it, but this little guy weighs 1/10 of an ounce and is 1.5 inches long, has a single feathered treble hook on it, and interesting concept. So you're going to tie your line direct to this front split ring. And of course, you could use a snapper or whatever else. Then you're going to take some leader line. Yes, sorry, you're actually, yeah, that would work fine. Then you're going to take some leader line. I would say on average, maybe 8 to 12 or 18 inches long. And then you're going to run it behind this teaser. You're going to tie a knot to the back of this teaser and then tie a knot to the front of your primary topwater. Most likely a walking bait, could be a popper as well. And then the concept here is that as it's going to make it a little bit more challenging to cast, given that you're going to have that much longer of line hanging out before you lob it out there. So you probably won't be able to make quite as long bomb casts. But then the concept is you get an extra treble hook, and then really you're fishing kind of two baits at once. This thing is going to imitate a small bait fish in front, and then your primary walking bait or popper as a trailing topwater bait that is essentially chasing this teaser. And they are supposed to zig and zag. So as you walk the bait, this guy is going to go one way and your trailing bait is going to go another. And then they're going to kind of change out. And so it's going to feel like the rear bait is chasing this front zigzag. Hence the name Zig and Zag. So interesting concept. I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but I wanted to at least get it in my hands and show you guys and see what you think about it. Is it gimmicky? Is it something that you think could actually work? If you think about it, it's a pretty similar concept as what you get with the donkey rig or the double fluke rig that I know a lot of people do utilize and have success on it when they're fishing for schooling fish. So I'm sure there's a time and place where it would work really well, but yeah, you're right about that, Michael. Who did make the front runner? Could someone look that up real quick? Interesting. Berkeley Finisher. 505 liked it. TN Bassmaster did not. Malone says the Zigzag is probably good when they're feeding crazy on top water. That's kind of the impression that I get. So on the days where you're getting munched on top water, why not throw that puppy on and see if you could double up, or just increase the number of bites and or hookups that you're getting. I don't think it hurts to have, but I don't think it's something that I'm going to tie on a regular basis. So that's just my 2 cents and my perception on it. I don't know. Okay. Can you guys guess what this is? .505 says, out of the forward-facing sonar baits, it's one of the best I've tried. Or it's the best out of the ones that you've tried. Like the size 5 and 7. Okay. Bill Norman, front runner? Really? I mean, obviously we know Bill Norman. Oh, maybe that's right. The Norman front runner? Okay. Yeah. Donkey rig, same thing, right? Carol. A rattling soft plastic frog that comes in a hard bait package. No, this is the Megabass Vibration X Ultra. So they make this in a silent and a rattling version. Both are not yet available at Discount Tackle. So they really only had the rattle in version available. They had 2 sizes available. I went with the bigger size. This is the 76 millimeter, 5/8 of an ounce. So this is a full 3 inches long. This is supposed to be super stable in the water and a bait that you can burn really well. So on the back of the package, it says, refreshed with an all-new composite metal balancer and aggressively tuned weight distribution. This bait dials up the action. This upgrade results in an even more powerful, ultra high speed, high pitch roll drive, generating ultra high definition vibrations. Okay. So I guess it has rolling action in addition to being stable and wanting to go fast. Who knows? I haven't fished it yet. And boy, oh boy, straight out of the package, it does feel pretty heavy. Of course, it feels premium. This is the matte shad color, one of my all-time favorite colors, especially from Megabass. But a bunch of other companies are making matte shad these days, or at least trying to. Some are better than others, but Megabass's matte shad has always been one that I am a super sucker for. Started with the Vision 110 and has continued on to many other Megabass baits for me. So you'll see the chin is a little bit unique here. Almost looks like it has like a little bit of a cup on it. But, yow, that's heavy. I don't know how much that little cupped mouth is going to matter when the bait is going to swim at an angle, right? Somewhere, not totally nose down. You look at where the balance point is. My guess is it's going to swim somewhere about like there. But looks fantastic. Has a bunch of rattles in it. 3 separate rattle chambers. You can't quite tell just how translucent this bait is, but you can see up front is a rattle chamber. In the back on the bottom is a rattle chamber. And then actually up top is another one. So maybe you can see all 3 of those chambers now that I'm showing you up close. Up top is separate from bottom, and then up front is separate as well. So 3 rattle chambers. Pretty high pitch, but pretty loud. Beautiful color schemes. Of course, it's expensive, but it's Megabass, and it's so high quality. It's kind of like buying artwork, and I'm not mad about it. Let me catch you up on the prices that I paid for the last handful of things. The Shad Shape Swimmer for that 8-pack of flat-sided swim baits. These are the 3.7-inch size. I'm sure the pricing is pretty similar across all of the sizes, but 8 to a pack, I got them for $5.39. So not a bad deal. I think that was on sale. The jig heads, on the other hand, 3 to a pack, and these guys were $6.29. They seem high quality. So $2 a pop is a little bit expensive, but not the end of the world. That Bill Lewis Zigzag was $7.74. $7.64 for that little front runner type of deal, the Zigzag. And then lastly, the Megabass Vibration X was $17.99. So pretty pricey. I've got one last thing in the bag to show you. And it is another soft plastic from the ever popular Gary Yamamoto. And this is one that I was waiting for. I complained about this about a year ago when I first tried this bait. And honestly, I tried this bait a handful of times last year and did not have great success with it. This is the Yama Tanuki, but this is in the larger size. They finally made it in a 4 1/4 inch. So this is going to rival the Depths Cover Scat in the 4-inch. So they're bigger size. And I am happy about that. So, you know, this freaking Squidward nose on the front. I still don't know exactly what I think of the little nubbin, whether that's necessary or not, but who knows? I had great success with the Cover Scat 2 seasons ago, and some success with it last year as well. And so I did buy a couple of other Pooh style baits. And then last year just wasn't it for me and the Pooh baits. So, you know, kind of depends on the year and what the fish are wanting. And last year, this style bait was not it. Hopefully this year that will be different. But initially they only made this bait in smaller sizes. And I was saying immediately, they need this in a bigger size. They need it to be able to compete with the 4-inch Cover Scat. And so they've got it, which makes me a little bit happy about that. Hellabass in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you in here. We're going to switch from Discount Tackle over to the trash world on the internet that is known as Temu. I have never made a purchase on Temu. I got caught in a moment of weakness online. I don't know, a month or so ago, maybe more than that. You know, and when you're buying from mainland China, it takes a while for this stuff to ship. So that said, it's all dirt cheap and kind of crazy and super tempting to buy some of it. So I went out of my way to like buy enough stuff to make a purchase. But you know what's crazy is some of this stuff actually looks somewhat legit. So let's start with maybe one of the more exciting ones. And this kind of reminds me, like after I made this purchase, I think John B posted a video about having made a purchase on Temu as well. His was mostly hard baits, a couple swim baits and things like that. So going to be a little bit different because most of mine are soft plastics, but check this out. This right here is the Chinese version of the OSP Dice Rubber. However, it's called the Bite Times BAS Solo. The Bite Times Bass Solo. Fishing Superstars. So definitely super knockoff packaging, but let's take a look at what the actual baits do. These come 4 to a pack, so it's not like you're getting a ton here, but and believe it or not, I have not ever purchased the Dice Rubber. You guys know that I've purchased the Q-Bomb from G-Crack, but this is my first go at essentially the dice, and this impresses me. It looks like it should. Honestly, I see no real flaws with this thing. I wish I could tell you off the top of my head what I paid for these. I want to say it was like less than $2 a pack. And you guys probably know that the OSP Dice Rubber retails at like $20 a pack, maybe more. I mean, this thing looks pretty damn authentic. It is shaped like a cube, maybe not quite as like much like a pyramid as the Dice Rubber, but how much is that going to matter? I don't know. This is known to be a drop shot bait more than anything. You're just going to nose hook it on a drop shot. So I got 2 packs of those. I got one in pink and one in black. First impressions of that, actually very good. I had no idea what to expect with any of this stuff. So let's take a look. And keep in mind, like as you're shopping on Temu, there's a million different options. And so some look better than others. These looked pretty good and were not crazy expensive. So yeah, there's the Dice Rubber from the classic good people over at Bite Times. Knockoffs are us. But honestly, they look pretty good. So 4 to a pack for super cheap. God knows what I paid, but not a lot. If these are as good as the OSP Dice Rubber, these paid for the entire package straight out of the gate. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually really happy, pleasantly surprised with what I see there. Now, there's not a million baits in here. Here's another one that like looked eerily too good. Like it looks authentic. And this is another bait that I have not gone out of my way to try, but the good people over at the Hookup Tackle are all about this bait for whatever reason. This is the Libero Head Swimmer. Now look at this sticker They didn't even take the time to put the sticker on the packaging, right? So that's a pretty big red flag. But it's like they're branding this as the actual thing. So I'd be very curious to now actually buy a real one and see how they compare side by side. I don't know. Again, I've never tried this in real life, but this comes with one pre-rigged bait and 2 extra bodies. And this is what you get. So it is a baby little underspin with that center bottom weighted style jig head that is an underspin. As for the quality of the swivel and such, I can't tell you right this second. Kind of hard to tell. It's such a small bait that I might have to fiddle with this after the stream to see how freely this thing spins and stuff. But the hook seems high quality. This is like a dual strand weed guard. Okay. So overall, construction of this thing seems solid. Like, I'm not mad about it. Paint job is good. It's such a small bait that I can't tell you what the action is going to be like on this thing until I actually get it in the water. But I don't know. The people at the Hookup Tackle speak very highly of this thing. Maybe it's in bigger sizes than this, because boy, this thing is tiny. And without having actually seen it perform in the water or know really what it's supposed to do, it's an underspin, for God's sake. So I guess I'll just let you know if it fishes well. But that was cheap. It looked too real from the pictures and was dirt cheap too. So comparatively speaking, when you look at like the original version where you're paying, I don't know what it is, $12 for a pre-rigged swim bait and a spare body or two, it's like, yeah, probably not going to pull the trigger on that. I don't know. But dude, I don't think I paid shipping. These things each have a shipping price attached to them. So I went out of my way to like buy the ones that were free shipping. And I think altogether I spent like 60 or $70. And I bought a bunch of things that like are non-fishing related, And of course, the second that the package arrives in the mail, my wife was like kind of pissed that I bought this stuff because it's a lot of crap, right? Like, do I really need more flashlights and headlamps and a monocular and like there's like little stuff that I'm like, oh, that's a good deal. Like I could find a use for that. She was like, yeah, we don't need this crap. Don't be making another purchase there. I was like, okay, my bad. So it was a good deal. Shipping did not cost anything. However, it does take like 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. So something kind of crazy. Adam Myhera hitting the 1,000 subscribers. Well done, sir. Congratulations. All right, next up in the world of Temu, from the all-famous brand of catching BLG fish, catching bullock fish, we worked hard at hooks. we worked hard at hooks. Okay. Well, I'm grateful that you worked hard at hooks. let's go ahead and see just how hard you worked it, Hooks, that you decide to put on this rat bait. So this essentially is a Spro rat, and it looks to be in like the size 30. And boy, oh boy, it's a pretty much a carbon copy. All the way down to the tail and how the tail attaches to the bait. So, yeah. Same rattle, same knock. I don't know. It seems like the freaking same thing, dude. Do I have my rats? Here's a rat 30 from Spro. Here's a rat from Catch BLG Fish on Temu. It's the same bait. It's the same bait. And it's got a frosted lip on it. I mean, the paint job's a little bit sloppy on it. I will say the joint is different, right? You can see there's more space in the joint for the Spro than there is on the Chinese version. That's a big difference, but in terms of the design of the bait, the pieces, the way that they made the bait is the same. So they just took a 3D print of this bait, made the same exact thing, and then the hinge that connects the two pieces is a little bit tighter on this Temu version, but otherwise it's a Spro Rat 30 is what I bought, and it was, again, just a couple of dollars. And let's see. We worked hard at hooks. You are fired. These hooks are mediocre at best. I am not a huge fan. So yes, Adam, the joint is the same. It's just it's tighter, right? I just showed you. You can see that this joint doesn't have nearly the same amount of room, so it's not going to travel as far. But, you know, to be honest, that just means it's going to have a tighter action. I don't walk these rats from Spro. I do just swim them. Kind of depends on the conditions, how fast I will retrieve these baits. But goodness gracious, that is a straight up copy of the Spro Rat 30, and that's interesting. Maybe, just maybe, because it's a wake bait, the action will be fine on it. That is the thing, is I did not want to buy a bait that, you know, like John B. having bought some swim baits that were knockoffs of high dollar baits. Yeah, they may look the part, but they're probably not going to act the same. Now, with soft plastics that look like the Dice rubber, I don't think it's probably that hard to replicate the action of those things. Or a tiny little soft swim bait. Probably not that hard. The rat, that's up in the air. I could not tell you. I only have a couple more baits and then like a tackle box or something. Maybe there's only one more bait. 2 and some jig heads. So let me show you those. So I don't remember what this reminded me of. Maybe this was supposed to be a replica of... Ooh, the packaging on that is not good. That tail's going to be destroyed. But look at this. It's kind of like a sleeper gill with an underspin. You know, it's a dang shame, Rich, that Temu is not supplying Gamakatsu hooks. Look at that. It's destroyed. It's like I left it outside. No. Maybe I could boil the tail and try to fix it. Do I really want to? No. But pretend like that tail doesn't exist, because it doesn't. There's no chance I'm fishing it like this. That is horrendous and embarrassing. As is the plastic hanging off of the front of the bait like that. What? Just a horrible, poor job, and really not trying to clean it up. But interesting concept that this is like a sleeper gill with an underspin. So they put an underspin on there, and then like you'd get out of the sleeper gill, this has, wow, this, how disappointing. This one actually has a really good hook on it, like surprisingly good hook on it. And I actually kind of like the system for how this hook hides in the front. Look, that is sealed up plastic. So you have to set this thing pretty good to get that hook to come out. I don't know if that's going to impede, if it's going to mess up the hookup ratio, but you guys have heard me complain like a number of times about the hookup ratio on the dark sleeper. This is not going to have that problem. Now they've got excess plastic like everywhere in here. When I pull back this fin, you can see that there's all this extra plastic in there. I don't really get that. Seems kind of like a poorly made, poorly poured plastic, but if this tail was straight, I would probably be pretty excited to fish the bait and at least just see how it performs. I don't know if this is a perch or a bluegill type of pattern, but it's not bad. It's not good. The tail, on the other hand, is absolutely one of the most atrocious that I've ever seen straight out of a package. So that is not usable and is hilarious. What do you expect me to do with that? So that's going to go most likely straight in the trash. I will probably borrow the underspin portion from it and then toss it in the trash. You know, you win some, you lose some. So Adam, I don't either, dude. Adam saying, I've been making dice Senkos for years. Paperclip pulls strands through nicely. Yeah, carpet needle. So I've made a couple of baits like that. You've seen me do that before with, you know, a TRD or something like a Senko. I don't know. There's something about a bunch of fine strands of silicone being in there and the bait not like I feel like I'm messing it up by poking so many holes in it. And I feel like just the confidence that I have is different if I'm making it myself. Especially with like soft plastic alterations and things like that. So last bait, which is an interesting one. Um this is a junior Jackal Pompadour. Check this little baby out. Um, as for whether this thing will swim right or not, I don't know. But take a look at that. It seems to be made properly. It's got two teeny tiny treble hooks on there that um that might actually be fishable. I'd give them like a B plus, and I might fish this thing with these on. I actually don't mind the look of them either. Kind of a hybrid style hook. Look more EWG than round bend, but they look solid. And then you do get that tail spin, and it spins freely. I am actually pretty dang impressed with this thing. I bought a translucent color pattern. Has like a hint of chartreuse on there, but I want to say this was maybe the most expensive one. It was like $4. So this seems to be well made, and I like it. If I had to guess the weight, Adam, I would say this thing's an eighth of an ounce. So this is going to fall into the category of being a BFS bait. And man, it's like if I knew what I was getting myself into, I would have just bought like 3 or 4 of these and like I don't know, half a dozen packs of these. I probably would have avoided the Libero swimmer, the dark sleeper gill. Would have avoided those. And then I did get a pack of jig heads. I don't really know why. I guess maybe I was just trying to get over a certain threshold price-wise, but come on, let me in. Pack of jig heads. And these are just like Ned heads. Totally did not need these. Really not in the market for more Ned heads, but maybe I was just trying to see how Temu is doing in terms of quality and stuff like that. These seem pretty well made. Now that said, I'll say the hook is pretty good, and the mushroom style jig head, I really don't mind the shape of it at all. But this little bait keeper, I don't know if you can tell there, it's loose. So where I liked the look of it, looks like this is not going to hold up. I might need to like throw some super glue on there or something like that to get that to stay on. But these are just like a 1/10 of an ounce or something of the sort. Very lightweight Net heads. And yeah, this bait keeper seems like not very secure, but that's okay. I could probably right the ship on that. Yeah, so these are 2.5 grams. So yeah, right at about 1/10 of an ounce. Interesting. So couple of winners, couple of losers, and then got this tackle storage system. Might be more of like a terminal tackle storage system. You can see this is about the thickness of like a deep Plano box. Snaps open, and then inside here you get a bunch of little containers. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 14 small guys in here. They'd all come out individually and could be good to hold weights or hooks. You might even be able to fit like full-size 3 or 4/0 hooks in there. And then from a form factor standpoint, not too big. And I think you could fit a lot in here. So I actually kind of like the idea of this. I will keep you posted on it, but seems kind of cool. I think, yeah, I kind of think that's like maybe almost what it's more so for than it is for fishing. But I could see this playing really well, either with terminal tackle or with like micro, with like BFS soft plastics, right? Could work well. A lot of the like smaller soft plastics that you'd use for either panfish or for bass that are just a smaller profile, little 2-inch baits and smaller, could work well in here. But I honestly see it a little bit more as a terminal tackle storage solution. But how cool would that be if you just had your dice rubbers in this little tiny guy, and you could just throw this in your pocket and not worry about it. Then you just pop the top, grab one out. That's not bad. I do not regret buying that. That's cool. Okay. And then last thing, I always talk about like wanting something like this. Oh, what in the world? Okay. So this is a pack of like 100 of these. These are supposed to be little Ziploc bags. Meanwhile, these are really little Ziploc bags. I don't know if you cut these, like they're two side by side. But golly, are these really, really little? So initially I was thinking I could put terminal tackle in these as well. But like, let's just say I wanted to put these new Ned heads into one of these bags. How easily can I actually fit a handful of Ned heads in one of these things? Let's find out. So I've got 3. I've got 4. Can we fit a whole 5 jig heads in here and zip it up? Wow. We can, ladies and gentlemen. Teeny tiny little bags, and I can fit 5 in there. Now, the problem is, can I cut these in half and have it just be an individual bag that I've got these net heads in? Oh, that ripped clean. Hell yeah, I can. Okay. Now I'm actually kind of interested. When I first saw these, I thought, no way. These things, this is a joke. They're so small. I mean, look at that. I thought they were going to be like 3 or 4 times bigger than this, and I'd actually be able to fit like, legit hooks in here. But net heads, I just fit the whole pack of 5 right in here. That's kind of nifty. I'm sure I could find a use for that. Now you think about combining those in one of these guys. Oh no. And I could probably fit 2 or 3 packs of net heads in one of these little boxes. And so these could be separated by weight or size of hook, things like that, and then could fit in one of these guys. Huh. Ba-boom. Wow. All of a sudden, this Temu purchase is not so bad. So I got tackle storage system that I'm pretty happy about. These bags are tiny, but kind of cool. The Jackal Pompadour, I would say, takes the cake, as do the Bite Times dice rubbers. The Spro Rat copy was remarkably similar. Wow. Yeah, label maker working overtime. No doubt. It would be great for bullet weights, split shots, bobber stops. You're absolutely right about that. 4 split shots per bag. Yeah, not a lot in there. But still pretty cool. I'm gonna do some brainstorming about all the teeny tiny little things that I use that these could be good for. Definitely makes it good, like it's a dime bag size, I don't deal drugs, but I'm sure that somebody does and could make use of that. It's like perfect size for something like the Keitech mono spin jig. Would fit really well in there. Okay, so that does it for the unboxings. Maybe we hop over real quick to Bass Pro, take a look at the catalog before we sign off tonight. But what do you mean, what size? A dime bag, just a $10, a dime, 10 for most drugs. You you can buy $10 worth of whatever you're buying. If you're a cheap ass or you're poor, you might just want $10. Okay, so that was Discount Tackle and Temu. Interesting finds. Obviously, Discount Tackle had some wins in there. The Megabass Vibration Ultra X lipless crankbait is pretty sweet. It's supposed to be a good burning lipless crankbait. The sun gloves from Discount Tackle. I know you guys probably think it's so nerdy of me to be pumped about new gloves, but for $15, I'm happy with those. And to get a screaming deal on the Buka Trick Shad, which is a new bait to the market, but to get this color for 40% off, I'm absolutely not mad about that. So definitely got some cool baits. That new Yamamoto shad shaped swimmer really intrigued me. I don't know how much I'm going to fish it, but I'm sure for some people, this bait could be really, really good. You know, a flat-sided, skinny swim bait, a lot like the Kitech Easy Shiner, but made from Yamamoto with that different plastic composition. Looks cool. So anyway, let's hop over to Bass Pro, and we'll just scroll through a little bit of time for bed. I totally understand, man. No worries. Thank you for jumping in and hanging out. It is past midnight on the East Coast, so I get it. If you got a dip, no problem. We are just going to roll for probably another 15 or 20 minutes. So nothing crazy here. Let's shop the catalog. Maybe let me verify that I've got you in the right view here. And what we're going to do is zoom in on this puppy. Wow, it's like at the end of the catalog. How do I freaking... Oh, no. We just rushed it. I wanted to skip ahead a little bit on the catalog in terms of where we're looking. Because page 285 is late in there. You know what I'm saying? Although, there's some lures. Wait, did I just skip way ahead? That I did not. Walleye whackers. So let me just look in my catalog and see what page range we want to be in. Okay. So we want to go to about page 118 is where we want to be. How do we do that? Is there a way to get there quicker? Search this catalog. Nope. I know there was a way that I did that. So what did I say? 118? What if we try it like that? Page 118. Oh, baby. We're in business. All right. So 118 is where we switch over from rods and reels to lures. Let me just double check to see what you guys are seeing on your end. Nice. Okay. Here's what we got. So Bass Pro Shops lures are going to be first, and I feel fine about them. You know, honestly, there are a few that I'm curious to try this upcoming year. I have picked up some of their square bills. And what's cool is if you're looking at the catalog online, which literally is just on their website, you can search it. Like they have a catalog section, right? So I forget exactly how I found this, but You can find this online, this year's catalog, and then you can scroll through it yourself. So, Caro, if you're wanting to see it and your husband's trying to hide it from you, you still have access. All right. But their square bill retails for $5.99. You can sometimes find it on sale for $4.99, and it's a quality square bill crankbait. Actually comes with good stock hooks now. So I am curious to try it out, and seems like the paint jobs are better than ever. I'm pretty excited for it. This guy, the XPS Rattle Shad, I have not seen. I'm kind of curious about it. Oh, did we just open up a second page? XPS Rattle Shad is a lipless crankbait. That doesn't look like a lipless crankbait to me. Oh, they have these links reversed. So the XPS Flatsider. Is it going to take me away from? Yep, sure is. All right. Hopefully it takes me right back to that same page. But this is the XPS Flatsider, which I have not seen in person yet, but I'm not mad about it. That's not the same bait. Looks like they're shrimp.
Thing they have rehauled the entire XPS brand,
Sounds
XPS
like
and Bass
it.
Pro Shops. Here's the crazy thing: they have rehauled the entire XPS brand when it comes to the crankbait. So if you look at this one, this is the new flat side they got coming out. The right hooks with the right strong bill. It's not going to break. It's going to give you that side to side to action for cold water, wherever you're going to throw a flat sided crankbait. But from deep diving to square bill, it doesn't matter. Custom paint jobs, the new XPS crankbaits from Bass Pro Shops.
All right, so no underwater there. But take a look at the paint jobs. This is just generally speaking the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They got Natty Shad, green craw, brown craw. I like that color. Ghost green craw, red craw, citrus shad, red craw. It's translucent. Midnight shad, which looks pretty sweet. Spring craw, classic, and their ghost brown craw. Solid stuff. And for $6.99, kind of hard to beat. I'm curious about that. I had not seen the flat cider crankbait. I've really just seen the square bills and some of their jerk baits. But as Mr. Lane said, they have kind of overhauled their entire brand that is XPS hard baits from Bass Pro, and the stuff looks good, man. I honestly don't know about this Chaos Shad, their Whopper Plopper style bait. I do not like the tail section, the gap there, and I do not like that it's a hard plastic tail. That said, it's different. It's a fatter body than what you get out of the Whopper Plopper. The wake up call seems like a good wake bait. As for the popper and the walking bait, I haven't tried them. The egg is not a new bait, and I actually do like it. It's a good wake bait. This past year, they decided to throw a lip in the swerve glide bait and make a swerve wake, which is kind of cool. I've never been a big fan of these multi jointed swim baits, so I'm not going to talk about those. I'm going to skip over a lot of this stuff. We're going to keep it really quick. So BioBait is something that I have respect for the brand, but don't have a ton of interest in fishing their stuff. Just leave it at that. Kind of similar to the Bass Pro XPS lineup. It's interesting that with the new KVD Elite baits from Strike King, you get a slight increase in price, but you definitely get a step up in terms of the paint jobs, the color schemes, and the hooks that come on the bait. So I think that's a pleasant surprise and increase in quality. Now they've got a new hard bait out, a new flat-sided crankbait, in addition to the Chick Magnet, which has been out a handful of years now, few years. New is this Hardliner flat side. Looks like there is no link to Bass Pro for this bait yet, but that is going to be new for this year. So you get a little bit more of like an OG slim type of profile, but obviously it's a plastic bait and not a balsa bait. So that's pretty cool. The Strike King Wake Shad is new. I mean, it's a returning bait, not a new bait. Definitely existed before. This is a profile that was discontinued, then brought back by 6th Sense, then copied by a few other companies. So it's definitely out there, and including the one I just showed you from XPS, right? In this one, the Wake Up Call. So yeah, Strike King's just bringing back the Wake Shad, and they're calling it the Wake Shad 2.0. This is a little bit annoying. Strike King Evader is just a blatant copy of, I think it's the Jackal bait, that the Jackal Riser bait. Definitely not a copy of the Berkley bait. It's not at all the same thing. This is a topwater bait meant to have kind of a side-to-side motion on a straight retrieve. But yeah, not the best look from them. The Bitsy Poppin' Perch is interesting to add to the line of their Bitsy baits. $5.99 is a good price point. This is probably a tiny little quarter-ounce frog, so interesting. Not a bad add to their lineup. Rapala with a new topwater. This is the PXR Jowler. I think this existed in Europe and other places before they released it here in the US. This is an interesting cupped mouth on a topwater walking bait. So I don't know exactly what it's going to do. It seems interesting, and they're saying that the rattle chamber is compelling, and that it comes with redline treble hooks on it. But that's an expensive bait at $20 for a Rapala topwater walking bait. So I don't really know what makes it so compelling, but it's interesting. They've now got the Rocco in a big size, 5/8 of an ounce. Nothing new from Berkley here. Nothing new from Bomber. Their paint jobs have definitely gotten better over the last handful of years, though, at Bomber. 6th Sense looks like the Crush 400 DD is new. Doesn't mean much to me. I do not deep crank. Your classic lipless crankbaits. Your classic Rebel baits and Spro hard baits. Lucky Craft Square Bill. There's the Trick Shad that we were talking about earlier tonight. Made by Buka brand. Mike Buka partnering up with GSM Outdoors to make a mass-produced version of his Trick Shad in a plastic version. Does have swiveling hook hangers on it. Does retail at $40. Is now mass-produced. So cool bait that literally was released to compete with the ever popular and still relatively new Spro and KGB Chad Shad, which is $20 more expensive. So it'll be interesting to see how the Trick Shad performs and how it holds up if it ends up being as popular. Okay, just wanted to double check you guys can see my stuff, but let's go ahead and keep it moving. Dead Man Walking, I've heard mixed but kind of good things about this topwater walking bait. I may or may not try that at some point. Hellraiser, I still can't speak to, even though I have, I think, 2 of them. Never gave them a real fair shot. The Credge, here's the finisher. You guys were saying mixed things about it tonight. So Bass Pro Shops XPS baits. I don't know about this suspense. I actually know nothing about it. Looks like a shad wrap that suspends or something like that, but that's interesting. So it's a suspending crankbait. And then this is their jerk bait that is really to compete with, the Stunna, the Maverick, the 110, all of those. And it retails at $8.99. And the paint jobs are good. The hooks are good. It's going to be hard not to give that a shot and see kind of where it fits in, because it's competing with baits that, are at least $5 more expensive, if not double or upwards of triple the price tag. So kind of crazy. You see the Maverick is $16. The Bill Lewis scope stick is probably the cheapest of the competitors. You see that Booyah is just getting into the jerkbait game, and they're charging $15. So why? I don't know. I mean, it's Booyah. They shouldn't be able to charge $15 for a jerkbait, but maybe they think they can. Simply because Division 110 has been so damn popular at $25. Everybody wants a slice of that pie. 6 cents Provoke came in a handful of years ago at this price point, $13.99, and it is competitive. It is cheaper than the Lucky Craft Pointer, and a good competitor, and they've been ultra successful at this price point. So I think everybody else that's coming in, striking with the KVD Elite at $15, and everybody else is trying to come in right in that range, right, of $13 to $16, and it's interesting. The XPS brand with a blatant copy of the Spunk Shad, fascinating. 10-pack for $5. Will I be tempted to try that? Yes. Will I try that? Yes. Am I a little bit sad for Hog Farmer and Missile Baits? A little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that looks like the exact same thing. Then as for what this Rockin' Shad imitates or is a copy of, I don't know. It looks like a mix between the Yum swim bait of theirs. They've always had a straight paddle tail swim bait that I think is mediocre at best, mixed with a Fluke. I don't know if that has wings on it or not. It's hard to tell. Actually, it says it does. Winged design imparts a unique rockin' action that drives bass wild. So that tells me that they're really trying to knock off the Sakamata Shad. Interesting. There's the Crush City Mooch Minnow and Freeloader. High performing baits. I'm not interested in these striking pre-rigged forward-facing sonar baits. I'll always give a shout out to the Baby Z2 though. It's like my all-time favorite finesse soft plastic of all time. Still is. Graph shads, I'll probably give that a little bit of attention this upcoming year. The drop kickers looks interesting. I have a pack or two of them. Great Lakes Finesse showing up in the catalog. Look at NetBait coming out with a forward-facing sonar. Little minnow bait. The Hextech Eco Shad. This cutout on the bottom of the bait is interesting. Some micro bubbles in there, something of the sort. There's the Scope Shad. So this was kind of the like jig head style that I was talking about when I was showing you Libero head that I opened from Temu. But yeah, interesting. 6 cents with some new soft plastics. Check these out. The Strobe Minnow looks pretty good. Just a totally straight tail minnow bait with a little nubbin on the tail. This Strobe Shaker, a soft plastic with a bill on it. That is a newer concept, not new, but newer, and is cool. Strobe Shaker. You know, when you get 5 to a pack for $8, that's not bad. It's definitely worth trying, and I probably will. And then lastly is the Fiction Shad. Comes in a few different sizes, and this looks good. It's kind of like a panorama shad, but with a different tail on it, and maybe is meant to be rigged like normal and not flat, you know, like the panorama is. So I don't know. Those look good though. All 3 of those. I'm interested. And then we're straight away into hooks. Got the comeback shad from XPS. There's a whole story behind that, but we've talked about it before. Maybe we'll get into it another time. Not right now. The Nessie and the Cole Shad, those are not new. Bass Pro releasing, pre-rigged swim baits like this doesn't interest me, but probably will to a lower price point market for sure. All the line throughs and the Mag Draft competitors. Look at this. So the Mag Draft, Strike King made the final copy. Bass Mafia made the Dangerous. The Dangerous is a good bait, especially with their line through. Their loaded version of the Dangerous swim bait. It's a great one. Pretty similar in what you get with the Z-Man Shadtron and the Molotron. Awesome baits, especially at the price point with the line through. I am a fan of that, especially when you get the eye on bottom as well. So the line through can go up to hook onto this top hook or down, and you can have a treble hook that you rig here. You can take this top hook out and have it just be as a bottom treble hook only, or you can have it be a top hook only. So that's pretty sweet. Got some frogs, nothing new there. Bass Pro soft plastic lineup. Look at that. So the Logfather, which is essentially their creature bait. The Crawdiggy bug. Oh, wait a second. So initially, I used to read this as Crawdiggity. I just said Crawdiggy because that's how it's spelled. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's Prodigy, like Prodigy. Prodigy Bug, and then Prodigy Craw and Junior. They've got a Helgramite and a Cold Front Craw. All those look pretty high quality. I'm not mad about it. And then they've got all their worms. I don't think any of those are new. Well, they say the Magnum Finicky worm is new. So essentially a Magnum trick worm. Okay. That's cool if they're making a Magnum now. And a bunch of tubes and grubs. Crush City with their baits. Nothing new there. Well, I guess technically these three are. So their hog style bait. The Janitor worm, which is more of a shaky head type of worm, and then the Pig Stick, which is their Senko style bait. But so far, I've been very impressed with the Crush City lineup of soft plastics, so I'm not mad about that. The Strike King Rage series of baits, I guess they are making the Rage Buzz Minnow now, which looks a lot like the Rage Shad, but maybe is supposed to ride and run a little bit more true, bulkier body, flat bottom, but not on top. Maybe will hold a hook better than the Rage Shad did. So if that's the case, cool. I end up just fishing the Rage Toad a lot more, but maybe there's a time and place for the Rage Buzz Minnow. I don't know. The Luau Cry is newish as well, but not necessarily for this year. Here's Yum with their page of stuff. Nothing's new. Powerbait and Maxent, nothing's new. Zoom. Only thing that's new is the Shimmer Shad Chatterbait trailer. Live Target making some new baits. Making a couple of new soft plastics with the LT stick worm, which looks like just a Senko style bait. And maybe a smaller version as well. I don't know if that's a big one and a little one or what, but looks like a nicely poured worm, some good colors. And then the LT straight tail worm, which looks a lot like a trick worm or that type of bait that you're going to use on a shaky head primarily. And then they've got these two baits on the bottom. Forget the Freestyle Frog, but let's look at the Sunfish and the Shad. These look to be wedge tail baits that are not pre-rigged, that give you the option to rig. It says it's got an open belly, Peerless Minnow Mimicry with 3D eyes, sculpted details, blah, blah, blah. That's not what we want. Split belly and dorsal fin ensure effortless rigging with optimal hook concealment and strike securing placement. That kind of gets my attention. And you look at the price tag on them. You get 3 of the smaller ones or 2 of the bigger ones for $10. 4 of the little bluegills, 3 of the mid-size or 2 of the bigger for $10. I might end up trying those. I don't know. I mean, looks like they're getting their pricing a little bit more affordable, but it looks a lot like the same stuff that they've been making for a long, long time. And if it is, then I'll be excited to look at it and then won't end up using it much. I kind of hope that's not the case, but we'll find out. Technically, the Chatter Shad is a new for this year chatterbait trailer. I don't know if I really would say that it is. The TRD Fatties. This is one that I'm actually pretty excited about. Just because I'm a fan of most Z-Man TRD baits. And I'm a huge fan of the Z-Man Fatties. So I just for whatever reason, I kind of assume that the TRD fatties is going to be an awesome bait, but I don't know that for certain. Nothing's new here. Can keep removing. And there's Yamamoto, the Nuki bug, the Sensei worm, the larger size of the Yamatanuki. Look, they don't even have it listed here. Oh, there they do. 4 1/4. So they're not saying it's new. Shad-shaped worm. They don't have the shad-shaped swimmer here. They just have the swimming Senko and the shad-shaped worm, but not that shad-shaped swimmer that we unboxed tonight. Look at Bass Pro making their own little dark sleeper with all these ribs on it. Z-Man already did so with the Gobius a year ago. Got more Great Lakes finesse stuff. Netbait putting out a paddle tail. Okay. Nothing new. Nothing new. Chatterbait trailers. There's that Chatterbomb. Did any of you guys try that Chatterbomb last year? I had bought a couple. I think I tried them once or twice, but never really gave them a fair chance and can't quite speak to them. But an $8 chatterbait or bladed jig. What's funny is we're going to come up on this. All right, so we're going through the bladed jigs. Got the slobber knocker. We got the thunder cricket. Look at Z-Man's page saying patented direct head to blade connection. Formerly patented. It is no longer patented. It was patented. And they're saying this groundbreaking lure's patented direct head to blade connection and trademarked hex shaped blade. Yeah, that is no longer. So it will be interesting to see next year what the chatterbait market does. How many brands get into it? I assume iCast will just be flooded with bladed jigs, but I don't know that for sure. It'll be interesting to see what the price point of bladed jigs does. Bridging the gap, say here, or even trying to undercut the price of the Evo, the Elite Evo at $10. The tungsten version at $15 seems pricey to me, considering the jackhammer is $16. Mini Max is always an awesome one. We got jigs. Some new ones, but I'm not really in the mood for talking about jigs right now. And then we got combos here. So that does it for the baits in the catalog. And voila. You're not a fan of 6th Sense or what? Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I'm encouraging you, Caro. Hop on Bass Pro, check out that catalog. At least just to educate yourself. It's not like you need to make an impulse purchase from Bass Pro, but just to see what is what. And we just very quickly rolled through everything there. That was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but yeah. I did not know about the new color patterns on the Provokes from 6th Sense. Interesting. About the Robo situation. What do you mean? Robo Worm, or did Robo Worm pair up with another company as well, or are you just saying the knockoff that XPS did on the Spunk Shad? Because No, he wouldn't have been. That didn't affect him. What am I thinking of? What was John Cruz pissed about with the Robo situation? Tell me real quick, and then we'll sign out of here in a couple minutes. We've only got 7 of us left in here. It is getting late. I have work early in the morning, so do need to dip out of here. But tell me, Mr. Malone, what was John Cruz pissed about with the Robo situation? I'm thinking something soft plastics. Here's one of those Bass Pro Square Bells. This is the brown craw color. Has a subtle rattle in it. High quality hooks on it. This is a 1.5 size square bill. I paid $5 for this thing. High quality. Oh, really? Okay, so I didn't necessarily know that. GSM bought Robo Worm, and they're messing up the colors. I mean, I don't blame John for being mad about that, since they're so closely paired up with Robo Worm. That's got to mess up business a little bit. So appreciate you mentioning that. They're not matching up the colorways. They're not the same anymore. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I super appreciate the support and the love, and you guys just joining in. It was fun. It's been a while. Happy 2025. I will see you again sooner than later. I am on the verge of ordering my February purchase from Discount Tackle, so we'll go through that shortly. It is mostly new stuff as well. So we did not hop on Discount Tackle's website tonight, but if you've watched this all the way through, if you're watching this on the replay and you're seeing this right now, click the link in the description to this video. It'll take you over to Discount Tackle using my affiliate link. Go ahead and purchase any of the stuff that you saw me pick up tonight that might interest you, from the gloves to the swim bait, if it's still on sale, to the little shad-shaped swimmers, or the line through heads from Picasso. Or let's just say you're feeling a little wild and you want to go with that front runner situation with the Bill Lewis zigzag. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty happy with the purchase. Maybe you want to ball out and you want to get one of the Megabass lipless crankbaits. Just flawless. I mean, and they've got their out barb hooks. They've got like a size 4 in the front and a size 6 or 8 in the back. Megabass always does everything right. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you again real soon. See ya.